All right, we'll get going here this afternoon for our special workshop. We'll call it to order. And first order coming up is discussion regarding Lampasas County Appraisal District fiscal year 2026-2027 proposed budgets.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilmen, members. Yes, we are the Lampasas Central Appraisal District. It is the 2027 budget. We do not do a calendar year with it, so it's 2027 for us. Everybody had the presentation, right? All right.
Do you ask anyone had a question?
No, I mean,
Okay,
sure.
here it is.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get too close. All right, here we go. This was what was reported last year as far as the what the appraisal district appraises in miles, 721 square miles. And what we did in parcels, there was 2 years, 2024, that were not reported. Okay, those show zero change in 2025 and 2024, but there was about 8-9 month period that we weren't doing anything, so it was kind of stagnant, but the correct parcel count is 20,933. All right, this is one of the new laws, House Bill 9, that came in that exempts business personal property exemption update. So that allowed business personal property exemptions from $2,500 to $125,000. So Lampasas County, City of Lampasas, the third one down, has $31 million in business personal property. So this year it exempted $13 million, roughly $14 million was exempted under this new law. This one is the county market to net taxable. As you can see, we did from 2025, so there's a significant growth from 1.5 billion at net taxable. In 2026, you're at 3.5 billion. This is countywide. Market value 3 billion to 7.1 billion dollars. So there is very significant growth in the area. Okay. Again, this is another graph that shows the same growth in new value. So in 2022, you notice that that's really low. And I think that what we found out was that the staff did not know how to operate that software in 2022. And then in 2023 to 24, we had a conversion. So we had a huge market shift. In 2025, you got 89 million, 2026, 64 million, and this is all new value. Wildlife management, this is one of our larger accounts, so you can also see there's a decline. We had almost 5,000 accounts in 2021. We're currently managing 4,809 accounts in 2026. There is a decline in properties that are coming out of wildlife management into being divided into small parcels. So we see that. In homestead, disabled veteran, this is another area that we have to process. So we're processing about 1,540 applications per year. In 2025, we had 6,936 applications or qualified exemptees. We're now at 6,886 for 2026, and this is done. Now we have to audit these accounts every 5 years. This is more of the homestead audit, so there's approximately 19,914 accounts that can qualify for homestead. We're exempting that 6,800 accounts approximately. We did remove 326 accounts from May 1st of 2025 to May 1st of 2026. Okay, we have a 58% completion rate. Go ahead and go to the next one. This is just a breakdown by category that we have to, that we review. Okay. So there's that 1,540 applicants from 1 year's time. We have 97% approval rate, 64% completion rate. This is one of the topics that we've been talking a lot about. When BIS took over in 2023, they did a mapping project for us. They corrected over 15,800 parcels. So we started at 81% in 2024. And we'll see some backup data. Go ahead and go to the next one. So this is BIS backup data, or they took over officially in December of 2024. The next slide will be a little bit more. Okay, so here we go. So 1 year's worth of work, they processed 2,307 parcels, 353 deeds, 98 plats, 80 sketches, 1,776 corrections. If you can see the red area is the corrections. That is the majority of work that we're doing. It over exceeds anything else that we do in the county. So this is our vendor. They also reported, let's go to the next page. At the end of 2025, so this is 1 year's worth of work, we were still at 82% complete. The state standard is 95% complete, or at least 95% or better. They reported 3,256 parcels that are still unmapped, that we cannot map properly. And we're going to go through these real quick, so I know you don't want to see the other one, but we want to show you some of the areas that we did clean up. The one on the left is Copper's Cove, the before. The after is the one on the right. That one big one there that looks like a knife, that was corrected. That was actually coded to Kemper, but it sits in the Copper's Cove area. These are some of the corrections that we did. So in 2020, we estimated that they lost in the last 10 years $2.2 million in taxable value, $174,000 in lost levy in the last 10 years out of those 19 corrections. This is Kempner. The one on the left was before. The one on the right is after, and most of these we've already corrected for Kempner. Same thing, we estimated $2.3 million in taxable value, $64,000 in the last 10 years lost. City of Lobina on the left, and on the right is what it looks like as of this year after the corrections. We still got a few more corrections to do in Lobina. Go ahead. Okay, so theirs was 1.1 million in taxable value, and it was approximately $41,000 in levy loss. And City of Lampasas. So the one on the left is the before, the one on the right is after, and we have identified here we go. $4 million in taxable value, so $162,000 lost in the last 10 years. This one correlates, let's go to the next one. Countywide, road and bridge, we did do some corrections for county and road and bridge. $221,000 in taxable value. Next one. In the county, we found one property alone this year that was worth $31,866,000, and the value had been lost in 2023. So that property netted $164,000 lost to road and bridge. We were not able to fix it in 2025, but we did catch it in 2026. So the potential loss would have been $209,000, but we got it at $164,000. Okay, so this one correlates back to the one where BIS took over in 2023. The left slide that you see, that was the one where they corrected the 15,800 parcels. After the corrections that we just showed you, these are the 3,526 parcels to the right that we still have not corrected. So it's a significant difference in what the CAD still has to correct, but we, with the help with our vendor and with the staff that we have now, we've come a long ways. Okay. So this is just a total. We did 79 corrected properties, 1,309 legal acres, $622,000 in lost revenue to the 10 taxing units, and we're estimating right now at $62,000 loss per year. The average per parcel is $780. We still have that 3,557 unmapped parcels, so potential loss revenue $2.8 million that we believe that all the taxing units combined are losing. And then I'm going to let Angela talk about this one.
So when we are studied by the comptroller, we have to turn these in. This is our PDAD rejected and accepted. One appraiser took almost 2 months to get this fixed because we couldn't put a whole lot of people on this. This is one of the reports that we have to do. Can you go to the next one? So this is a slide with a lot of information on it. So PBS studies is how the comptroller are studied every other year. As you can see, in 2019 and 2020, we were studied yearly due to the fact that we failed our PBS study, which is our school study, in 2019. We also failed in 2020. If you see the blue dot on the 2021 year, we were under $13 million from losing our school funding that year. So you see 2023, we're right there kind of in the middle. We passed. So the upper and lower lines are that 95 to 105% that we have to hit with the school study. There's a very small margin of error for that. There's been a lot of talk about market value declining. As you can see, the CAD kept our market value pretty steady from 23 to 25. We just weren't seeing a whole lot in our sales. However, the state comptroller does also get sales. And as you can see, the 23 to 25 market value for the state has inclined. So we were still within that study, and we hit right there in the middle, so we were still good. But this is a slide that kind of shows how we are graded with the state and how we have to hit that market value.
Okay, some of the items that our operational needs, what we're asking for in this budget is we're asking for one additional administrative staff position. We're asking to replace one vehicle with a truck, a four-door pickup, and an SUV. We obviously have more appraisals to do, and we have more appraisals in the office. So we have two older vehicles. One's a 2012.
It's 2015 or 2018.
And we'd like to replace one of them, keep one of them, and add two more vehicles. We'd like to continue investing in our appraisal staff and training and development, improving player retention, competitive wages and benefits, enhance our IT infrastructure, cybersecurity, and continue the GIS mapping projects. This is a new slide, so we've added this in. These are the contracts that we currently have, or we inherited when I got here. So there's a $30,000 contract to one of the contractors, $66,000 to RCI. That was a digitizing project that we took on, and $88,000. That was the conversion from one software to another, and there's still 3 years that are doing that. And then $20,000 is the extra mapping that we're paying the mapping vendor to continue finding those missing properties, and we can add them back to the roll correctly. So we're projecting that by 2030, we should be out of most of these contracts. This is what we're currently at in our operational. So we've got the chief appraiser supervisor, collection supervisor, RPA appraiser, 2 RPA ones, 3 RPA ones, executive clerk, and an appraiser. And on the collection side, we currently have one person, 2 people on the collection side. What we're looking for in this budget, so we're looking to promoting the supervisor to the chief deputy, and promoting one of our clerks to collection supervisor. And then we have appraiser 3, 2 appraiser 2s, exemption clerk, and an appraiser 1. Keep in mind that some of these trainings, it takes 5 years to become a certified appraiser. We have 2 certified appraisers that we had to fast track in 2025. We have 2 appraisers that had to do their level 3 and level 4 in 1 year and get state certified. If not, they were going to lose their certification status or the ability to take an exam. That would cost the CAT over $30,000 to do. So we made a decision to fast track them and pay for that 1 year extension to make sure that they got the proper training necessary. And then this is our projected for 2029. So again, so we've got the chief appraiser, a chief deputy, an appraiser certified, CIA certified as well. So both your chief deputy and chief supervisor will be Chief Appraiser Institute certified. Then we have RPA 4s 3, 1 RPA 3, I'm sorry, RPA 4, 1 RPA 3, RPA 2s, and a 1. So in the future, that's what we're asking for, 2 more appraisers. The collection side will stay the same, 1 collection supervisor and 2 clerks. As I mentioned earlier, we have 2 staff appraisers that did get their state certification level 3 and 4 in 1 year. They got it on their first attempt on the exam. We did complete 1/3 of our records were digitized and converted into the conference room. We took that area and we have a boardroom now. And we did hire 4 new appraisers that have excelled throughout their training. This is the TDLR testing. We showed this last year. Do you want to talk about that?
So the level 3 and level 4 appraisal tests have a very low pass rate. Like you said earlier, 2 of us took those tests last year. Both of them have passed on the first try. This usually takes up 5 years. I think one of us did it in 4, the other one did it in 3 years because we had to do it and they accelerated due to us already having our extensions. You only get 1 year extension. So these tests are not easy to pass.
Yes, and one of our successes on that, I want to mention that, so we have 2 employees, both that passed level 4, applied and got accepted to the Chief Appraiser Institute, and they're going to attend that this year as well. So that will give them a higher level of appraisal and administrative understanding of appraisal work. So I think that was very challenging, and I'm very proud of the work that they've done. So here's some of the examples. The ones on the right is what that conference room looked like. There was over 97 cabinets. We got 1/3 of that digitized in the very bottom. We have that conference room that we're currently using now for ARB Board of Directors meeting. We've had several trainings in there. We had some training with the city, with some city employees, departments, and we gave them access to a workspace to some of the software that we have, and I think that will be beneficial to the city, both the fire department, city, and the police department. This one is our protest, so we always get asked how many protests we have. I think our average is about 1,200 protests. We did break it down by agents, so agents are 419 of those, commercial properties 252, and industrial properties 135. Obviously, commercial properties, the majority of them are inside the city of Lampasas. This is the budget allocation. Do we want to go to the other slide? Combined, our percentage is only 4% of the combined budget to all the taxing units. This is the 2027 for City of Lampasas. We're projecting that your revenue will be 2.9 million. And the budget is only 126,000. Yeah, that's the one I was looking for. So this is a 3-year comparison of what what your revenue is versus what the CAD's allocation is. So in 2025, the city only paid to the CAD $57,531. In 2026, we doubled. Everybody knows that we doubled our budget. The city allocation was $106,000, but your revenue was $2.5 million. That was a $173,000 increase in revenue. In 2027, the CAD is asking for $126,000 from the city, but your revenue right now is almost $500,000, $500,000 in additional revenue for 2027. That doesn't mean you have to raise your taxes. All this is a projected revenue, so you can start using it to budget into your budget. But already we're already a $500,000 increase revenue coming into 2027. These are your numbers. This is what we sent you during the preliminary numbers and the preliminary budget. So this is where your projected, if you look where it says approximate levy. So right now, if you do not change your tax rate and the CAD continues where we're at today, you're projected roughly $3 million in revenue this year. These are your categories for your exemptions. So you're currently exempting $96 million on an additional $13 million for the House Bill 9. And then these are the categories that you have. So the new value for the city was $7.3 million, and you have taxable value $946,288,000. And keep in mind, the appraisal district, this is strictly from corrections. We are appraising, but we're appraising in 2027 is the appraisal year for the city of Lampasas. 2026 was not an appraisal year. It was just the corrections that we've been doing and working on and making sure that these documents are as accurate as they can be. So when you process your truth in taxation, when it's time for you to make those decisions, you have some good documentation to use. That's it, and these are the CAD totals. Everything else is CAD. 41.
So I just want to point out here that even with your House Bill 9 that passed, that exempted a large portion of the VPPs, this number that is going to be levied if you don't change the tax rate is after that exemption. So even though there was exemptions that y'all qualified for, we still were able to recover that.
I have this question. Overall, I think a very good job. Thank you for everything you've done since you've been here. Chris, I'll say that. Angela as well. Because obviously, they put in a lot of work and accomplished a lot in a short period of time. Do y'all have a future plan for a building of any kind? I know you have renovations, but it's kind of moved since obviously you're going to be expanding. Is that built into y'all's projected long term?
We've been talking to the board about that. Right now, what we're asking for a little bit in here was the renovations, but yeah, as we grow, we need to start either considering adding on to the building that we have or consider looking at another location for the CAD. Yes, sir. And that'll be in our next, hopefully in our next budget year. We're going to strongly look at that a little bit harder.
I don't know if you heard, but we have a business park just right outside of town here. So that may be a good area for you.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just gonna ask what justifies the increase, but I think you did a pretty good job. That's why.
Yeah. Thank you. The total increase was $149,000. 17% of that is in wages and one employee and the promotion and the wages. But the other amounts are continued in training and the things that we're looking for, the 2 vehicles and other stuff. As the county continues to grow, we know that there's already 200 acres that are going to be chopped up into small little tracks and homes are putting on there. What we found out, this county, The moment that they break ground, within 6 months, those homes are built. I think we put on 500 homes last year, approximately.
In the two big subdivisions towards Coppersville.
So it takes, within 6 months, they break ground, and within 6 months, homes are already built. You know, and so we're projecting another 1,000 homes between 27 and 2028. So yes, the growth is happening, so our growth needs to continue to happen as well.
And that's just in Lampasas County alone.
Yes, that's just.
One thing I didn't catch, you said with the new mapping and clearing up right now, to what, around 81% completion, as I said, and did I catch like 92% would be substandard, or 95, what was it?
The state standard, so the comptroller's office, when they evaluate us, the state standard is 95%. So we'll be out of compliance until we hit that 95%.
And how long are you anticipating?
At the rate that the vendor was going, they corrected 554 accounts at the end of 2025. It would take us 7.5 years, is what we're reporting. But we're paying them an additional $20,000 to hopefully speed that up. We want to do it in half the time. That's our goal.
There's not much y'all can do in-house to speed that up, is there?
I think we've done what we could already.
A lot of the stuff that's already done was the easy stuff. A lot of the stuff that they're having to correct now, they're having to go find old deeds, old surveys, stuff that was before the CAD was originated in the 80s. A lot of that stuff is, we have to go dig it out of the county clerk somewhere and go try to find it, and the vendor's helping us with that.
Yeah, one of the things that we added, so we trained one employee that's training with the vendor constantly, and the vendor has offered us, and we're not paying for it, but we've gone to a software that's called Deed AI. So we're also we're using every tool out there that we can get to help us. But as far as our staff, we're not qualified to do some of the title work that's necessary. So that's why we have to depend on the vendor now. But we still do a lot of the work, whatever we can. But it's gotten a little bit more complicated.
Last year, y'all raised your budget quite a bit, and one of the things you said to us last year is that we wouldn't have to raise it that much this year. And to me, almost 10% is pretty high. So are you anticipating doing this every year?
Again, it's hard to say what's going to happen in 2028. Right now, this is the 2027 budget, and we feel that the growth that's happening in the community, we have to continue to keep up with that growth.
Y'all found almost $500,000 basically missing taxable property. The city will realize $500,000. That's without raising any taxes. You're just asking for a $20,000 increase where the city's benefiting $500,000, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
I don't really care a whole lot for that point because it seems like we're paying for increased revenue. But I have a question. I don't see your expenses here. What kind of training do you have, like office staff? Do you have any of that in here?
Yes.
What line is that on?
Through 52.
50, 51, and 52. Line 50 is 8,450. The registrations and fees are 12,675, and then 10,075.
Okay, I see it. I guess the root of my question is, I saw some online chatter a couple weeks ago, and you probably know what I'm talking about. But one of your vendors had, I guess, made a social media post in disagreement with the budget increase. And the next day they were called and fired. Services no longer needed from their company. we're covering, education and training for your staff. To be sure that situations like that don't arise again in the future.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow the social media platform. But yeah, we invest a lot. We're required to take customer service training at least once a year. We have a person that's completely dedicated to customer service.
I'll just stand up as a board member and let you know that we have been aware of that. That's a personnel issue, not really a budgetary issue. And we will deal with that during our regular meetings.
Thank you, sir.
We do have I'd like to thank everybody for taking time to listen to our presentation. We have a final budgetary public hearing on the 25th, Thursday at 5:30. Anyone that would like to come, you're welcome to come. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, a motion to adjourn. Special workshop session.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And we will now call to order our workshop session. Discussion regarding any items on the regular session for June 22nd, 2026.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about how we get hot lunch. So I just had some questions, because I do know we probably pick up, and I'm just worried about that it doesn't quite fit the, well, at least all of the things that are being asked for, because we've got to ask those two questions, first, does it permit some beds, and then second is, well, my mic's on.
Yeah, it's just required.
Second is that one of the 9 categories that it fits? And so, what I'd really like to know is, as far as hot funds go, I really think that we need some education and maybe a workshop or something talking about exactly how hot funds can be used. If we need to have because I think that we need a marketing plan.
And to that point, I actually did a presentation at the newly elected officials seminar 2 weeks ago on the use of hot funds, so I'm happy to share my presentation with you. I have years of training in it, I'm certified in it. I'd be more than happy to carry the council through a training session on it, share my information, or if you'd like someone from the outside, I'm happy to facilitate that as well.
Well, I also think it would be good for the people filling out the applications to have some of that information, because we're starting to get a lot of these, and supposedly, when I asked if because we're being asked for $6,000, but we only have $2,500 left this year budgeted. So, and we're in July, and
We've had more hot fund requests this year than we have historically.
exactly.
Correct. Yes, and there are some things on this application that, obviously, this is not a sporting event, so putting an X by number 6 doesn't qualify. It's not really registration of convention delegates because this isn't a convention, but it does fall under the advertising component of it, so that component of this request would be a legal expenditure. And I don't see where it, there are several other events that we help market purely through advertising expenditures. The Hunter's Welcome, the Barbecue Festival, Spring Ho, we help with those marketing expenditures.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to fall into a certain category of event as long as the marketing funds are being used for marketing purposes.
Well, and the other thing too is we need people to come back with a post-event and receipts, which we haven't always
We do
done.
receive those. We have been receiving those as staff.
We just haven't seen them all.
Correct. They come to council to be initially approved. When the receipts are returned and we allow approved expenditures, we've been processing those payments administratively.
if there was, if any of the expenditures didn't, if funds are requested and those funds were not used for approved expenditures, would staff bring that to council and let us know?
Or we would reject the expenditure.
Has that happened?
Nothing that's been submitted in a post-event report has been excluded as an allowed expenditure.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, we'll get a motion to adjourn the workshop session.
So moved.
Second.
And we will call to order our regular session. All rise.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we pray for be here tonight in this beautiful community of Lampasas. Thank you for the green grass, the gentle rains in the last few weeks. We ask that you be with us tonight. Good decisions, good communication for the betterment of the entire community. We ask that you be with us in safety till we meet again. As always, in Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Join me in the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Let's see, tonight we have a couple of acknowledgements. Our Parks and Recreation Professional Proclamation Day. Whereas the City of Lampasas, City of Lampasas City Council recognizes that the Parks and Recreation field is a diverse and comprehensive system that improves personal, social, environmental, and economic health. And whereas the City of Lampasas recognizes the importance of benefits for parks and recreation services that enrich the lives of its citizens and help make this community a desirable place to live, work, and visit. Whereas the City of Lampasas supports the skilled work of the Parks and Recreation professionals to strengthen the community, cohesion, and resiliency, connect people with the nature and others to promote opportunities for healthful living, social equity, and environmental sustainability. And whereas the City of Lampasas values the essential service that park and recreation professionals, volunteers perform to provide recreational and development enrichment for our children, youth, and adults, and older adults, and to ensure our parks and recreation spaces are clean and safe, inclusive, welcoming, and ready to use. Now therefore be it resolved, the City of Lampasas Council does hereby proclaim July the 17th, 2026 as Parks and Recreation Professional Day in Lampasas, adopted this day, 2026. And next one up, we have some service awards. Luann Turner for 10 years, and she's not here. Let's see. And Anthony Friesa for 5 years, and he is not here too. So I'll give you these. Okay. Public hearing, citizens' comments. Have a 3-minute time limit. Do we have anyone? Nope. 1.1, citizens' comments. Any citizen who desires to address City council on a matter not included on the agenda may do so at this time, and we don't have any, so. Citizens comment, any citizen who desires to address the city council on a matter that is included on the agenda may do so at this time. And we don't have anyone. Consent agenda, discussion and possible action regarding the approval of minutes of the regular meeting held on June 8th, 2026. Discussion and possible action regarding the second reading of the ordinance amending the Lampasas Code of Ordinance and ordinance number 1762 regarding the zoning and regulations pertaining to the smoke and tobacco shop. 2.3, discussion and possible action regarding the second reading of an ordinance amending the Lampasas Code of Ordinance regarding a request to rezone property from retail R with a specific use permit, SUP, to retail R with a planned development, PD overlay. The property is described as 5.2 acres out of the LHW Johnson abstract, more commonly known as 2032 US Highway 281, Lampasas, Texas, Lampasas County. 2.4, discussion and possible action regarding the second reading of an ordinance modifying the City of Lampasas Code of Ordinances, mobile food vendor units. 2.5, discussion and possible action regarding the second reading of an ordinance authorizing the closure, vacation, abandonment, and disposition of an unimproved 0.2850 acres portion of the city-owned right-of-way locally known as unimproved 6th Street right-of-way, which is situated between FM 580 and Avenue I, and to the east of Block 33, Block 14, Lot 11-14 of the GC and 7F Railroad Addition. 2.6, discussion and possible action regarding the second reading of an ordinance amending the appendix of the city code fee schedule concerning fees for Chapter 62, Solid Waste, Article 3, billing rate, and fees provided for repeal, conflicting ordinance, providing for repeal of severability clause, and providing an effective date.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to pull out two ordinances, 2.2 and 2.4 for separate resolution.
Okay.
I move to approve the consent agenda, not including 2.2 and 2.4.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Boards and department reports. Oh, I'm sorry. 2.2, discussion and possible action regarding the second reading of an ordinance amending the Lampasas Code of Ordinance number 1762 regarding zoning regulations pertaining to the smoke and tobacco shop.
I make to approve the ordinance.
Second.
That's not to approve it. Move to.
And I think we, if I could speak to that, we did have discussion last couple of times about this. There was a split vote, and I would continue to disagree with this ordinance, and I would not want to have it approved, but that would be my vote.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, we have a first and a second.
And what was the motion?
To approve.
Okay, to approve.
Me too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
No.
Nays. Two point four, discussion and possible action regarding the second reading of an ordinance modifying the City of Lampasas Code of Ordinance regarding mobile food vendor units.
Mayor and council, I asked if we could pull this out of the consent agenda. I would like to add something into the ordinance that states that we still require for the food truck operator to provide their state license, their fire marshal certificate from the last 12 months, and their insurance to city staff prior to setting up somewhere. I've spoken with a few other municipalities, and this is the way that they're handling this new legislature change. And so my request is to move forward with adding that into the ordinance, and then we'll bring it back to you for a second reading at the next meeting if that's acceptable.
So if we're having to remove it, do you have to rewrite it, and then we have to do the first reading, second reading again?
So this could count as your first reading. You would approve it with the modification that I will add in that additional verbiage, and I can bring it for a second reading at the next meeting.
So,
Second,
Second.
any more discussion? All in favor? Now we can go to boards and department reports. Information Systems Annual Report.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Tonight I will be presenting the Annual Information Systems Department Report for FY 25-26. To start off, I would like to introduce our technology team. We have 2 full-time positions, the IT Director, which is myself, who has been with the city 21 years in September, and the System Administrator, Christy Acevedo, who has been with the city for 9 years in September. To start off, I want to talk about some goals in our department. Some of those include ensuring data security and protections of systems, improvement in operational efficiency, supporting staff and ensuring effective technology support, improving system reliability and uptime, reducing IT costs by managing resources effectively, developing and retaining a skilled IT workforce, and implementing new technologies as funds are available. Some of the challenges include managing cybersecurity threats, ensuring data security, adapting to newly, rapidly evolving technology, and training staff, meeting staff's demands quickly and effectively with a 2-person department, and navigating budget constraints and market conditions. Listed in the next slide is all of the hardware and software that we maintain. I won't go through all of those. You can see those in front of you. We maintain support as well as the city website and social media accounts. Management includes backups, firmware updates, software updates, website, social media content updates or changes, hardware and software configurations, installs, and maintenance, and we provide cybersecurity training for all employees. This next slide shows various comparison stats from last fiscal year compared to this fiscal year. Our help desk service tickets are down from FY 24-25. I attribute this to our department doing more staff training, teaching our staff how to better troubleshoot without just, putting in a ticket with us. We're providing a lot of training, documentation that they can refer to kind of help themselves before they put in a ticket with us. So I think we're doing a better job at that, and just with a 2-person department, that seems to be working out better. It's just educating our staff and helping them help themselves. The city's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram followers have all increased from last fiscal year, and the city website has less website page views this fiscal year in comparison to last fiscal year. This next slide breaks down the annual FY 25-26 IT budget. The annual IT budget is $528,272. 31% of that is for salaries, 22% is supplies, 15% of that was capital projects, 14% is benefits, 9% is services, 8% is maintenance, and 1% is other. Next, I wanted to touch on some technology highlights. We have a total of 3 firewalls. Firewalls are the most important part of our network. They are a network security device that acts as a barrier between a private and a public internet, filtering incoming and outgoing traffic. They alert us when any suspicious activity and stops any suspicious activity immediately. The primary purpose of a firewall is to protect the network from unauthorized access, malware, and any other malicious activities. We have a total of 30 servers to include physical and virtual servers. We have a total of 22 network switches. Switches are a part of network hardware that connects multiple devices to create a local network, allowing them to communicate. We perform software patches and updates. Software patches are small pieces of code designed to fix specific issues or vulnerabilities in software. They address bugs, enhance security, and improve functionality without requiring a complete software update. We also perform software updates as they become available. We perform firmware updates to our systems as they are available as well. We also have advanced antivirus and endpoint security with protection and monitoring on all of our PCs and servers. Internet. AT&T is the internet service provider for all city locations that is on the city network. Those locations include City Hall, IT Department, Police Department, Municipal Court, Calvert Building, Fire Department, Public Works Farm Collection Center, Water, Wastewater, Animal Shelter, and the library. And 2 years ago, we not only increased our bandwidth speeds in our main fiber circuit, but we implemented a second dedicated fiber connection with a diverse path in the event of a fiber cut. To further explain, the image shown shows our 2 fiber routes for city fiber internet. The blue line is our existing path for our dedicated primary 1 gig fiber connection to Austin, and the yellow line is our second 500 megabyte dedicated fiber connection that we added with diversity, and its path goes to Pflugerville. This was a high priority budgeted project that we felt was necessary to keep essential city services up when an AT&T fiber cut occurs. Nextlink is the internet service provider for all locations not on the city network. Those locations include golf course, Parks Barn, Cemetery, 580 Sports Complex, Hannah Springs School, Hancock Springs School, Golf Maintenance Shop, WM Brook Park, and the 3 new locations we added this year were Campbell Park, Airport, and Turner Field Complex. Cybersecurity awareness training. Per House Bill 3834, we deploy annual security awareness training to all city employees and city council. The state DIR training program that we use allows our department to send out simulated phishing tests to see if malicious attachments and emails are open or links are clicked on. When a user opens an attachment or clicks a link, it allows our department to see who that employee was and provide them with further education on cybersecurity and keeping our network safe. After the completed training, we are required to report that to state DIR, and we do that annually. Another technology highlight is security cameras. We have a total of 74 security cameras throughout the city. We have them at several city department buildings. Almost all of those department buildings have them. WM Brook Park, Campbell Park, Hannah Springs School, Hancock Springs School, 580 Sports Complex, Turner Field Complex, and the Municipal Airport. The next technology highlight is our website and social media. I would like to remind council and citizens to utilize our website and the tools that it provides. If you would like to receive email and or SMS text messages regarding any news, events, health notices, bids, employment that is posted to our website, you can do that by visiting the city homepage, clicking on Stay Informed, and providing your information. You can also sign up for CITCOG Code Red emergency notifications as well, and you can also report a consumer. If you miss a city council meeting and you're unable to attend in person and you want to keep up with what's going on, you can visit our YouTube channel where all of our meetings are streamed and recorded, or follow our socials for quick updates. We are currently going through a free website redesign on the city website, and we're supposed to go live on July 1st, so we're excited for you guys to see that. Next, I wanted to highlight on some of the major projects completed this fiscal year, starting with we had 2 replacement end-of-life PD host servers and 2 replacement end-of-life city host servers. That was a budgeted capital project, and we got those taken care of. That usually occurs every 4 years. 4 replacement end-of-life library training laptops, 2 replacement end-of-life PD training laptops. We had Nextlink install internet service at the airport and Turner Field Complex. We upgraded all of our Windows 2019 operating system, city and TV servers to Windows 2025 operating system. We replaced 7 end-of-life network switches and 5 end-of-life PD patrol top hooks. We also upgraded PD's Texas DPS SD-WAN TLEX router, and we replaced 10 desktop PCs. 6 major projects in progress include, we're still working on security cameras at the golf course, Turner Field Complex, and the airport. We do have one installed at the airport. We have one, I believe, we have one at Turner Field Complex so far, but we're going to be adding more. And then we have one at golf course, and we're going to be adding 4 to the exterior of the golf course. Software conversion to Tyler Payments for court and utility online payments, that's in progress. Our city website redesign that we spoke about earlier, that goes live July 1st as mentioned. That's a free redesign that we get every 4 years. We're in the process of assisting PD with RMS CAD software transition. We also deployed citywide security awareness training to employees and council, and we will report that before August 31st. We're also in the process of obtaining quotes for replacement IT server room mini split. And most recently, we awarded quote for the installation of spray foam insulation at the IT building, the replacement ceiling tiles, but we are waiting on roof repairs before we do that project. Do you have any questions?
I have just a quick question.
Yes.
Are you like the next thing, hookups that you have?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Around my microphone. Are you liking the next link? Is that working out?
Yes, it works really well for our locations. It's not on a city network. I mean, ideally, we would love to have those locations on our city network, but in many of those locations, it just doesn't make sense to run structured fiber out to some of the locations that maybe has 1 or 2
And so those are satellite?
Huh?
Next week it's on satellite there.
Some of them are structured fiber and some of them are point to point. So it just depends on the location and what they're able to provide us. But it has worked out really well and we're very happy to have that as a solution.
We got all of our leaks fixed in there.
All of our what?
Leaks, water leaks from the receiver.
No, we don't. Not yet, we're working on that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank y'all.
We have a library report.
Good evening, council, mayor. You have my one-page snapshot in your packet, I believe. This, of course, isn't everything, but gives you a little picture of what's been going on at the library. So this is from June through May, this past May, and we've had almost 41,000 visits. We added 419 new members. We circulated basically 47,000 items, and of those, 6,663 were digital items. So we have a couple of options available out there for digital checkouts, and so our numbers have gone up. Program attendance, 2,817. Internet and Wi-Fi numbers. And then I wanted to add our social media since we've been more active in the last few months. So we currently have about a little over 2,900 followers on Facebook and not quite 100 on Instagram. But of the 19 reels that we have posted, we have gotten 98,000 views. So, Emily, I'm glad Emily's up to doing that. Yeah, she's done a really good job keeping up with that and keeping people engaged. Kind of the fun side of libraries, and so yeah. And then also we did receive a $3,000 grant in May for I don't know, at HEB you're able to donate to TLA, Texas Library Association, and that money gets distributed to libraries for this Summer at the Library grant. And so virtual, program for our kids this year. The people are actually in New Jersey, so we could bring them here, so we did virtual. But it was fun, Dinosaurs Rock, and then we also were able to order a little over $2,500 worth of books to give away to kids and teens. So we wanted to either help them start their home library or add to it, just wanting to get books in the hands of the kids and teens. So we're still working on that. I'm going to skip over to summer reading registration. So far this year we have 172 kids signed up, 32 teens and 17 adults, which we haven't done adult programs in a few years. But we thought we'd give it a shot again this year, and we just haven't had much response as far as in-person attendance at the programs that we've been offering. And there's been a couple that have turned in their bingo sheets to earn prizes. But they have till like the middle of August to work on theirs. But this year's been a fun theme. It's Unearth a Story, so we've had lots of dinosaurs. We've got an inflatable dinosaur costume, and that was a big hit at the kickoff and at the different programs. The dinosaur has greeted them at the door, so they thought that was a hoot. So far we have one more week. This is our last week of summer reading, but it's been fun, and we've had the summer school kids from Hannah Springs come over several times, not for every program, but so we've enjoyed seeing those kids as well. And then back to the year-over-year numbers, you can see our numbers have been down a little bit from the previous year, except for the digital checkouts, as I mentioned. We just have more patrons that are interested in the digital rather than the physical books, so which is fine. But we do have a couple of options, collections that they're able to access with their library card for free. So I think they're clearly enjoying those as well. So that's pretty much all I have.
How's the Dolly Park reading program going?
It's still going. I don't know, it stays pretty much the same per month because we have new ones registering, but then we have others graduating, and so it stays pretty even around 515 or so. But we're like 1,200 total that have registered for the program. We do have quite a few people from Copper's Cove that try to register. Well, they register, but then I have to approve or deny based on their actual address. If they're within our school district, they get approved. If they're not, I have to deny them. But because of Taylor Creek out there, I have to include Cove's zip code. So they get all excited, and I'm like, I'm sorry, we can't afford to find all of Copper's Cove too. But we refer them to the code library, and it seems to fall on deaf ears over there for some reason. But we're doing what we can, and we're glad to be able to offer this. And now that there's a grant, basically, where we get it's through the state library, we get reimbursed for half of our invoice that we pay it, and then we get reimbursed for half of it. So our funds are going a lot further. So hopefully we won't have to, try to pull money out of Guthrie account or anything like that anytime soon. Our funds are going to last us quite a bit longer. So that was a pleasant surprise for sure. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you. 3.2, we have a few upcoming special events and meetings. July the 2nd, 6 p.m. Planning and Zoning. July the 3rd, all city offices will be closed. July 6th, 12 p.m., we have a budget workshop that'll be for the council. And it's also a public meeting. July the 8th is also a budget workshop, open to public, and July the 13th, 12 o'clock budget workshop, and July the 13th, we also have a city council meeting. And that takes us over to new business. Resolution requesting financial assistance from the Texas Water Development Board, authorizing the filing of an application for assistance in making certain finding in connection therewith.
Mayor and council, the state of Texas has pushed out about $1 billion of funding across the state for water infrastructure improvements. This is a grant, there's no cost share, there's no matching funds. City of Lampasas will be applying for some of these grants. As such, formally from the Texas Water Development Board, I do need y'all to vote on this resolution and approve it if the grant is the direction that y'all want to let the city go.
I'll move to approve the resolution requesting financial assistance from the Texas Water Development Board, authorizing filing an application for assistance in making certain findings in connection therewith.
Second.
Any other discussion, questions? All in favor? All right. Is it okay to read 4.2 down to 4.6? Or
They're separate items.
they're separate items? Okay. Can't put them all together in one package. All right.
I'll do that next time.
That's right. Discussion and possible action is declaring partial pallets of red brick 224 as a surplus and supplies disposing of as state law requires.
Mayor and council, we're simply going through all the public works departments and identifying any surplus equipment or supplies. Got a partial pallet of red brick, we need to be deemed as surplus and so that the state law.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Discussion and possible action is declaring 8 plastic tables as surplus equipment disposing of as state law requires.
Same.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? 4.5, discussion and possible action declaring 116 metal folding chairs in surplus. 4.4, I'm sorry, I'm jumping again here. Discussion and possible action declaring 23 metal padded chairs as surplus equipment and disposing of as the law requires.
Going for 3 here.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Discussion and possible action declaring 116 metal folding chairs as surplus and equipment and disposing of as state law requires.
Same.
So moved.
All in favor? 4.6, discussion and possible action declaring 2 office desks and surplus equipment and disposing of as state law requires.
Last one, I promise.
All in favor?
Thank you.
I thought we could have done that all at one time.
Next time, I got you.
Stephen, quick question. People who want to purchase these items, where do they go?
Gov Deals.
Say that clearly.
Gov Deals, just simply Google Gov Deals, it'll take you to the website, search Lampasas, and it'll pull it up. Once Kaylee has time to get it published, it may take a week or so. Tomorrow, sorry. She's fast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That'll bring us up to 4.7, discussion and possible action regarding hot fund request. CTX Goat Classic Association, an amount not to exceed $6,000 for the CTX Goat Classic on September the 18th through the 20th, 2026.
Mayor and council, as discussed during workshop, there's a group that has submitted a hot fund request for the CTX Goat Classic in September. We've seen that some of the items requested are not qualifying expenditures for hotel occupancy tax funds. And in addition to that, there are only about $2,500 remaining in the funds allocated for organizational requests outside of the Chamber of Commerce this year, based on what has been awarded so far. We are really essentially approaching the end of our fiscal year. Organizations are required to submit the request 60 days prior to the event. So if you walk it backwards, there's not a lot of time left in the fiscal year to request these funds.
understand that.
Mike Olson is here if you have questions for him specifically about email.
Since you said some qualify and some don't, what do you consider that qualifies?
Advertising and marketing.
At the 100% rate, or, because I know that in the past, we've done like 40% for advertising in our 3 areas, zip code areas, and 100% outside of our zip code areas, is what they used to do. I know that's not a state rule, but that's what the city has done traditionally, since I've been on
And that's an unwritten deal. It used to be kind of a rule of thumb that if you were gonna spend marketing funds on it, it needed to be outside of a 60-mile radius, is what we did. I hadn't heard that Lampasas had followed anything like that, but now with so much of your marketing occurring online, it's really difficult to just say, hey, you can only market outside of this radius. So,
the online marketing is quite considerably less.
oh, absolutely. You get a much bigger bang for your buck with online marketing than you do with print media or radio.
Is the individual who applied for this here, is it?
I'm sorry?
The individual who applied for this is here?
Yes,
Is it- Can we get some information on what kind of marketing costs we're talking there? Specifically how much?
Exactly how much that, I can't give you that exact number. So I'm the spokesman, I guess you would say. We have a couple of other ladies that are part of our group that handle the marketing side of it. Between advertising on ABGA websites, in the newspaper and books, it's going out nationwide. It's not just local. The event will have probably anywhere from 300 to 500 people.
How many days is it then?
3. It's 4 shows in 3 days.
CTX is an association that is just in Central Texas. I know they have some in San Angelo.
This one is just in Lampasas. I actually created it about 2 months ago. I actually went through the
Now, where are you
nonprofit.
guys gonna do that?
Huh?
Where are you gonna do it
At the livestock barn, or the show barn that we all use.
at? We can't get 300, 400 people in that thing with goats.
That's why we do what we call show off your trailer. So a lot of these people will come in and they'll actually use their trailer as their stalls and their pens. And when it's time for them to go in, they pull their goat off and walk in and they're good. The whole reason behind doing all this was we noticed the people that are in the show industry, they do a thing called jackpots, where they're taking their kids and they're trying to get them, teaching them different shows, look at different judges and that. Lampasas is a big goat area. People don't realize it. You know, we hear about pigs and cows, but if you look, Goldthwaite, Lameda, all that country, you go down towards Llano and Mason and that. And so we saw there was a need, and we're like, why not bring them to Lampasas? We have the facilities. I did go to the 2 local hotels, the Quality Inn and the Best Western. They didn't have any rooms, like room blocks available, because they already have some pre-booked. One's a wedding and one's another function. They won't book more than one event. So once that got in there, then that locks them out. We have people already coming from the Panhandle, Oklahoma, South Texas, and Louisiana that have said they're coming to this event. There's an app that they sign up for, and it lists, where they're from and all that, and we're going to provide that at the end. Me being new to this,
Okay, sorry,
go ahead.
Before we move on. So both hotels said that they can't offer room blocks, they're already booked up.
Yes, sir.
So if the city allocates any money from hot funds to bring folks in to spend money here, staying here, there's no place for them to stay.
They could get an individual room. I just couldn't book a room block that I could put in the thing that says we have a room block at Best Western, list, CTX Go Classic, and then they give you a rate. You can't list that because they don't have it there. They can stay at Airbnbs. They can stay at the hotel and just book the room themselves.
You know how many vacancies there's gonna be here, you know how many Airbnbs are in this town? And you established this 2 months ago?
I established the nonprofit 2 months ago.
Right.
We started this back in February, February time, getting everything together. Because we realized there was nothing here. They're going to Llano. There's a big goat show that happens. It's called I forgot what it's called. I take that back. My mind just went blank. But they all go to Llano and stay in Llano to do it. Delano's what, an hour away?
But there's a show there, right?
Well, they use their expo center to do it there, but it's a combination of one in Kerrville. They have the pigs go to Kerrville, the goats go to Llano, the cows go to another place. They just rotate it around to where they put them. So we're like, well, why don't we train the kids here? So show season starts in September. Most of your jackpots start at the beginning of September. For instance, my daughter just got her goats yesterday.
Yeah.
So now they're starting to get them and train them, and so these jackpots in the show like we're doing not only helps the kids learn that and get in front of different judges, it also brings people that have been raising them longer.
Yeah, I told you, I'm from the Junior Meat Goat Show Circuit for 2 years, hit 70 jackpots.
So you know how it goes.
Some living quarters going to shows.
And some of them are staying in living quarters on their trailers,
Right,
and we have been told that, but most of them won't. They'll either come in and go, and the amount that I put down, I had to come up with a number. Nobody could tell me. So that's what we tried to figure out. What are we going to use for advertising? And so that was just a round number that everybody come up with. I don't know if that's what we're going to use. We might use less. I don't know.
Well, is there any way that you could maybe come back to us now that you know that you can only help you with advertising, that you can come back to us with specifics like a marketing plan, and we plan to spend this money here, this money there, this money there?
I can. I look at the 60-day window and trying to figure all that out, and with everything that's going on.
Yeah,
It sounds like they're giving you an extension though.
And that's
We'll
fine.
Put together a marketing plan.
Yes, we can get one together.
It sounds like that, at this time, we're trying to develop this for this area,
Yes.
and we need to get a little more organized as far as our marketing and stuff before we bring that back to
Okay,
us.
we can work on that. That's fine.
Is it your intent to continue this every year?
It's my continue until I get kicked out of something.
So by next year, we should see how many people from out of town are staying in the hotels and the restaurants.
Oh, yeah, you'll definitely see how many are coming into town, because they'll start coming in Friday. We start Friday night, and then we have 2 shows Saturday and then 1 Sunday. So they'll be here for 3 days.
And what all shows are being offered?
So there's an ABGA show, there's a commercial weather show, there's a commercial doe show, there's a junior ABGA show on 2 days. So there's a bunch of moving parts with it, and that, like I said, I'm more of the guy that I ain't afraid to talk. So they're like, hey, we'll handle this part, you go handle that. So that's why I'm here.
You know, it's tough, like you heard, since there's about $2,500 left this year, trying to allocate that. So I want to know more kind of firm numbers too.
Oh, and that's fine. I didn't know about it. I knew about it, but I didn't know about it, and then that's when I asked.
Sure.
Like I said, they said, well, you got to do this, and so that's why I just jumped in and said, okay, let's put this out. Let's give them this information and go from there.
And I don't know, whenever we see those and come back, I mean, I don't know, considering this year, if I would be for allocating much there, but if I'm against that, I want to personally say, like, I'd be interested down the road, like, seeing how it goes this year.
Yeah, and that was kind of the other thing is, if you don't ask,
Right.
you don't know.
And I
So
think,
that
and
was
I
the
do think it's important, like, when you do it, when you have this show, that you talk to those hotels and get your documentation on that, yes, we have this many rooms we're dedicated to.
Okay. Because I know we asked for 10. I know we asked 10 at Best Western, and they said they had a room block for a wedding of 10, and so they couldn't do it.
You guys do any partnership with FFA here or anything?
So the FFA those kids are actually going to help us.
Okay.
So they're going to help us set it up. They're going to help. Some of them will actually be showing in the show itself because it's open to anybody. It's not just those groups. Anybody if you have a goat and you want to show it, come on.
So it's open to all ages?
It's open to all ages. You can be an adult. You can be a little kid, 5 years old that wants to do the Pee Wee version.
Okay.
It don't matter.
That's the difference there.
It's an open show. It's not closed to certain people. Anybody that wants to come in can come.
I'm excited to see how it goes.
Oh, I am too, believe me.
It sounds like we need to table this in there, and since we don't have a firm number.
That's fine. Thank you all.
Thank you. Discussion and possible action on agreement for transfer of the public property from the New Hope Baptist Church and Lampasas Colored School to the Lampasas Colored School LLC.
Mayor and council, in the spring of 2025, the city of Lampasas was approached by a group of individuals requesting to partner with the city to take over ownership of the historic New Hope Baptist Church in Lampasas Color School for their nonprofit organization, which came a little later, Lampasas Color School LLC, for public education and restoration purposes. Council directed staff to draft an agreement to complete the transfer after LCS LLC completed a survey of the properties which the city has received. Both properties were donated to the city for preservation and restoration, but the city has not prioritized those activities on these properties amongst the numerous other projects the city needs to complete. LCS LLC will be able to take over those efforts. The proposed agreement does contain the legally required clawback that if the facility ceases to be used for a public purpose, ownership of the properties will revert to the city of Lampasas. I sent you an email this afternoon. You would have received the same email last year with LCS LLC's strategic plan. You have a copy on your dais. It outlines their proposed timeline for getting the facility open for the purposes that they also outline in their strategic plan. Obviously, that timeline will have been set back a little bit because they haven't taken over ownership of the property yet. But there are representatives of LCS LLC here, if you have any questions for them. Otherwise, in your packet, you see the agreement, the deeds, and the surveys for the property.
Who's the spokesman?
Oh.
I figured it'd be Russell.
How are y'all doing? All right, who has a question?
Well, since we're obviously, getting everything organized right here, right now, what does that do to your project plan? Do you have a different phase schedule, or is it still on track?
We're still working on that just to make sure we get all the red tape done completely, and then my board will have a lot more available to be able to answer the questions. So everyone has a strategic, we have kind of assembled the benches for this, so everybody has a role, so questions will be answered differently by different people.
Okay.
I think my question that I've heard the most around town is how soon can you go at it? How soon will it be done, and how much are you going to be doing?
That's gonna depend on red tape, paperwork.
Yeah,
We're ready.
Plan.
Here we go. All right,
Yes.
you ready? Dr. Woods, everybody that doesn't know.
Members of council, we've been more than ready and excited to get involved in this community in terms of the upbuilding of particularly the African American community. We've been stymied because of delays, of course, in reaching a contractual agreement. And it's been delayed, whatever, but we were prepared. We think had the council been able to act sooner, we could have taken part in the preparation of the Juneteenth celebration and others. So we have programs, we already have a staff for requests for grants, and some applications have already been submitted. So we are prepared to go, and we trust and believe that this time next year, you'll be quite proud of agreeing and signing this contract. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We did have a great Juneteenth program there,
Yes.
and because of the rain, we stayed inside for a program. Jack Albert talked about the times in the past for the preservation of the historic color school to be processed through the city ownership. And that was very interesting. We had exhibits from the museum, and we had great food. So it was a very nice time, and it looks good.
With Lampasas being what I call my hometown, I want to really introduce what we've put together. Because I don't think y'all understand the people that I've had come support me. And I'm going to introduce them and let them just give a little scope of what they do on a professional level. This isn't just me going and grabbing some buddies and throwing this together. This has been a project, a very, very difficult project.
Do y'all want to kind of give a quick synopsis for everybody to hear about like what your plans are for?
What I really would like to do is get to know the board first, so you know what they are, and then if they decide they want to move forward with it, add questions like that. So y'all just met Dr. Ronnie Woods. This is one of my good buddies, Coy Potier, and I'm just going to let him roughly introduce himself, and from there, I think everything may start.
is Corey Portier, Historical Commissioner for Dallas County, so I have the expertise to know about the historical parts of it. One goal I would have is to get the church to have its historical marker, things that I've been helped to do for Dallas County. I've been on that board for 11 years, so I'm very familiar with the process of getting the historical markers. I also am a master gardener, master naturalist. I've worked with the USDA for 3 years, coordinating their board for Dallas County. So I have the ability to teach farming. So our goal is to get economic development in the community. And so we're going to take our experiences. We have contractual people. We have an attorney. We have just all kinds of, I would say, expertise to help with the community as far as education and economic development. So that's what we bring to the table. Thank you.
Tasha Lewis.
Hi, Mayor and Council. Seen me before, I'm sure. I'm working contracts for the government is what I do for my day job. Also asked me to be a part of this, not only because we're a family, and this actual property means a lot to our family. It's something that his grandmother asked that we try to acquire and make happen. So it's big for him to be a part of this and keep this as a historical property and make it into something which is educational, is to talk about the history, but also to make sure we get the people that not only live here, but bring other people to the town to understand what it has to offer and grow that and have that legacy for everyone, not only just the board members, but everyone, to be able to go do that. Our anticipation is to obviously bring in schools and farming, agriculture. We have real estate expertise on the board, and we also have church expertise and historical expertise. So we really just want to use all of what we have, but then also intermingle that with the expertise in the community to make it what we think it could be.
Well, thank you.
Do you live here too?
I live in Killeen.
Oh, okay, sure.
Not too far, just down the road.
Thank you. All right. I know he's not going to cover Mr. Porter talking. How y'all doing? I'm a little weird. I say here, I'm a realtor. That's why they brought me on for is the legal aspect of the market and everything. I'm also tied very well with the community for the youth. I'm a coach for Grace Community Church. I'm one of the BYL coaches. So my big part of this is bringing kids from there, from the schools, from each school around town. Once we get it presentable and we start educating, just me and the superintendent work pretty hand in hand on everything. So I'm already working out a way to get those field trips started to come to the school once it's up and running. And as of right now, that is our board. My family, I couldn't have done this without them. I've been up nights arguing, but I think this is what Lampasas needs, being here, watching everybody grow up here, and then watching me grow up here. I think it's time for the rest of the United States, the rest of Texas, to see how diverse we can actually be. Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Make a motion. Make a motion to approve an agreement for the transfer of public property for the New Hope Baptist Church and Lampasas Colored School Lampasas Colored School LLC.
Second.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment that the work be completed and finalized within 3 years. The restoration.
I'm not ready.
She's wanting to add an amendment that the work has to be completed within 3 years.
We'll have to redraft the agreement, so.
Is that something that's feasible for y'all?
According to the timeline that they submitted, it sounds reasonable.
That's something we can look at, but of course we want to run it by and see. We've tried this before. That's why I'm here. My grandmother tried it. So I don't want to put a date on it, but everybody here knows me, and I don't have but anything. So to try to put
I think
it.
we have to have some type of structure to it. We can't
Okay.
just leave it way open-ended.
Yeah, I don't expect it to be open.
Yeah, I think you can keep it, and then, I don't know, Dr. Wood, but maybe if we have to amend it at a later date, we can amend it at a later date.
I think this is our first time actually hearing that as a prerequisite or a requirement to be obtained. I am not exactly sure what that entails, the term restoration, and we would like a more specific request, guidelines for us to adhere to. But we believe we wouldn't have taken this project on had we not felt and believed that we had the resources to get it accomplished. And if you place that before us, we'll make it happen.
Is this something that we can do or that we need to do? Or can we just pass this? Because we've got the verbiage in there in the,
We have the statutorily required verbiage for the agreement. I think, if we just stay in communication, they've given us the strategic plan already. It's been delayed largely on the city's part to get them started. I think if we're just checking in with them on a regular basis and, hey, we've met goal A, we've met goal B, as long as it's being consistent.
Because that's what I'm thinking, I don't want to delay it any longer.
Correct.
I do have a question. Any other historical buildings that were here, do we have an example of one?
They take forever.
Well, have we done one here where it's been done 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, just
I
something?
think it's like you're saying, the back and forth. Go ahead, Mayor, sorry.
I'm sorry. We're working on a church right now, down here just across from the school.
Yes, sir.
So I think we're probably now about 2.5 years on that one.
And we're halfway through with it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just have to have an idea to put it in my head, so.
And I think, what I'm hearing is we'd just like to see, something get started and not just be open-ended. Ms. Harrison, if we're not checking points off on their strategic plan, can we enact our clawback?
Yes, specifically, now they are allowed due process, so they're allowed to meet with council and discuss, what's the holdup, because there could be very, very realistic holdups on why they haven't been able to meet this goal. But I think it's just open communication between LCS, LSD, and the city to make sure everything's
Moving in that direction.
and the city's not doing anything with this property and won't be anytime in the near future.
If we look at page 110, y'all mind if I address that real quick, because I have some thoughts on that. Because originally when I saw this, I was thinking the same thing, like an actual timeline of, a couple of years to see if there was anything accomplished. But the way it does read, under paragraph C, on the reversion of transferred properties, under paragraph 1, the LCS acknowledges and agrees that pursuant to LGC subsection 253.011E1, it must use transfer properties in a manner that primarily promotes public purpose to the city. We are talking about right now promotes a public purpose to the city, just coming up with programs and different educational opportunities. Whether or not full restoration has been done yet or not, that would be public purposes. Right? Wouldn't you agree? And so originally I was thinking the same thing too, like a specific timeline, but it sounds like y'all are already doing that. And as Ms. Harrison is saying, I think we just stay in communication with each other. It's either going to work or it's not going to work, right? And if y'all lose interest, which it doesn't sound like that's going to happen, and there's nothing being promoted, well then that's when the clawback happens, right? And clearly you would abandon any kind of progress if that happens, and it would just make sense for the city to take property back, right? But if you're promoting what you want to and following the strategic guideline, coming up with new ones that we're working together in a partnership, right? That's my thought. Because I see the issues, those are the same issues that I have. But I don't have the worries that I had coming into the night when I heard from Governor Snap talking about you're already working on programs. And I know Russell's moved here and he puts the work in everything. And now getting to hear a little bit about all the board members, I'm in.
There will be progress. I just wanted an example for understanding. So if somebody's been working on it for 2.5 years, honestly, y'all shouldn't expect us to be done with something in 3 years. If, I know that, and it's been some work, but the effort and the work being put into the community has been going before I even got this done. So every day, there's work being done.
You know, if we're all fine with that, I'll withdraw my amendment.
I guess the only question I have, are we talking about a restructuring, rebuilding, rehabilitation of the physical structure, or are we talking about the bringing together programs? For instance, I received my doctorate in ministry on church economic development, where we deal with seminars on starting up businesses and financial literacy training, things of that sort. That's what we intend to implement. One of the ideas that I've discussed with the group is to adopt a local school and work very closely with that school and perhaps try to implement some weekend programs to prepare their minds for the development and anticipation of owning their own businesses and being entrepreneurs and contributing actually to the economic foundation of the community in which they grow up in. That's what we're bringing to town. And so we believe within a 3-year period, we trust if we're functioning and with your support, we can garner enough resources. We don't need the church if we can't. I'm a minister. I'd be more than excited to get that in a position to come in and have somewhere to exploit my other talent. Thank you very much.
We do have a motion and a second.
Good voting, Mayor.
So we need to take out, so then there was a motion for amendment, but was it seconded?
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all.
Mayor and council, if we may, while everyone's here, we'd like to go ahead and sign the documents. If we can take just a couple minutes to do that.
No, thank y'all. This may get a little emotional for me because before my grandma died, this was her dying wish. So.
And we left so many like proclamations, you know, pictures, like, I don't think.
Yes, sir.
No.
He has to sign it.
I forget, that's why you're back up. That's why I got all these guys here to tell me he's right. Get a picture of all y'all? Yeah. Come on in. Get the board. I get my board, Corey, John.
I'm short.
Get on in there. I'm just gonna stand here and I don't know where to go.
I gotta look taller.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll make you proud. Make you proud. That's what I do. Come get you.
All right. 4.9, discussion of possible action on awarding sponsorship agreement between the city of Lampasas and all states in the amount of $40,000.
Good evening, Mayor, Pro Tem, and Council. Close to 6 months ago, I brought forth, on behalf of the Parks and Rec Department, an advising group called Sportsman Solutions, in which they go out and seek sponsorship opportunities for the department, and in turn they would take a cut off of the top of those sponsorships. To just refresh everybody's memory, that sliding scale is a 20 to 25% sliding scale, depending on a number of factors, including chamber membership, as well as what they call cold leads versus hot leads. Tonight, we had the city staff, Oil States, and Sportsman Solutions came to a $40,000 one-time agreement of sponsorship for a 10-year sponsorship, meaning the sponsorship will be over a 10-year period, but we will receive the $40,000 up front from Oil States. For this sponsorship, the naming rights will be the 580 Complex Playground, so the 580 Sports Complex. They are requesting one sign that up to the staff's discretion on how large, small the design on that would be, as long as it has their logo on it, and then changing the name of that playground on the city website to the Oil States Playground at the 580 Sports Complex. Along the same lines, naming rights have one field that is the city's discretion on which field for naming rights as at Turner Complex, and two signs, two banners on outfields at that location as well on fields of our choosing, and then one mobile A-frame sign they would like for us to put up at different city events for employment recruitment for Oil States. This is a big ploy for them
to hopefully up their recruitment process with employment.
Are they paying for that sign, or is it something we pay for?
We would pay for the signage. I do have a rough quote just based off some generic mock-ups. We would be in about $350 on these signs, so minimal in comparison.
Okay.
Well, I have a question, because your promise with this out-of-state company was to bring in corporate sponsors that we could locally get. Oil States is local.
Correct. So this is
we're gonna give away 20 to 25% of $40,000 if we could have done this in-house.
So this is the first of 3 upcoming sponsorships. The other 2 are very large national companies. This is the only local company that is going to be utilizing Free Sportsman Solutions. And at the beginning, yes, the larger opportunity is your national companies, but again, we're not gonna just eliminate the local man from being able to utilize this opportunity.
My question's not eliminated. My point is, if it's someone local, we should have been taking care of that ourselves and not having to give 20 to 25%.
Well, I get your frustration, but Oil States is a worldwide company, and a lot of times they won't speak unless it's through an organization like Chief
No, and respectfully, we don't have a staff member to send out to recruit sponsorships. She doesn't have time to go knock on business doors to say, hey, can you structure a $40,000 sponsorship for us? She's spread thin enough the way it is, as are all of our other employees.
Yeah. And what does it look like when they put a package together to, when they present it to a corporation? What is the package look like?
Like, what are we getting for our money? What are we getting for this 20 to 25%?
So the package, they put it together, they call it like a pamphlet or like a workbook. It starts with your highest valuations, so the 580 Sports Complex, renaming that. They'll put a 5-year number on that, a 10-year number on that, and then what's called a legacy number on that, so an indefinite amount. And those for 580 Sports Complex were in the 7 figures. But these are your smaller opportunities. And again, we don't want to turn away any one request. And so if Oil States originally came in and said, we want 2 ball fields and a playground and an aquatic facility, we've been negotiating that back and forth, and a lot of those negotiations do happen with Sportsman Solutions, and they are just essentially sent to the city as an approval, denial, or modification.
So you do a lot of the work negotiating.
Correct.
And I just want to first off say, great job. Like, this is awesome. This isn't a sponsorship for the full 580 complex. We're talking about the playground.
Correct.
Right? And one field, Turner Field?
One field at Turner Field, and 2 banners. And so those 2 banners could go on the same field, they could go on different fields. I did say up front, we were not looking to erase family legacy when it came to some of our facilities here, such as the Turner Complex. The city does have the discretion with this structured sponsorship to be able to designate the field of our choice for this. That is up for discussion. The one that the Parks and Recreation staff has talked about is the HEB field at the sports complex. It doesn't have a family name or a family name tied to that. And as well, when this first started, Aaron and I, specifically Aaron, looked back years and even decades to see that the last sponsorships were almost 2 decades ago through the city.
That burden any bridge with HEB, or like, would you reach out to them like, no?
They were emailed and called by Sportsman Solutions with no response.
Yeah, they had an opportunity.
They yes.
I think it's awesome. Like, I mean, this is one that we were talking about originally. I read that like numbers were getting thrown around, and I mean,
Any idea what the use of the funds will go for?
That there is no constraint on that based off of the contract. I think initially we're going to look at some needs of the department, some safety needs. We're needing some fences in a couple places. We're looking at maybe some structural upgrades to maybe some playgrounds, but I'm aquatics, I'm always gonna want something at the pool, but then, you know, we're gonna create
Those
a.
funds can go anywhere in the Parks and Recreation. don't have to
These
go
funds can be utilized anywhere except for, staff positions,
They can be utilized anywhere in which department?
Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, and this chunk of money, we've never seen this kind of money before. This is really good.
And I can assure you, this is just the beginning. I don't wanna get too far ahead, but this is the lowest dollar amount that will be brought to council over the next two months or so.
What about splash pad? That's not
Do what?
Those are dangerous words in public works department.
Coming back 2 years later.
I make a motion to approve the sponsorship agreement between the city of Lampasas and Oil States in the amount of $40,000 to be paid to the city by August 1, 2026.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4.10, discussion and possible action regarding the first reading of the ordinance appointing 7 members to alternates and staff appointments to the Charter Review Committee of the City of Lampasas, Texas, providing for a procedure specifying members' terms.
Mayor and council, when we brought this to you at the first meeting in May, we discussed establishing a charter review committee. Staff was directed to have 2 council members and 5 residents. We did also speak with JC and added 2 alternate positions. We only received 5 applicants to sit on this board. So this is the ordinance that establishes that committee.
So before we start going into a motion here, one thing that I've been thinking about is 7 folks is a lot of folks in the same room. 7 people in the same room is a lot of people, so all the chefs in the same pot. Thinking maybe you go with 2 council members, 3 citizens, and 1 or 2 alternates. Something I was thinking. I just want to hear y'all's thoughts.
I think the people that have offered have been all excited to be involved and be fully involved. At this point, I would hate to see it decrease.
Because does that allow for people who may not be able to be there and show up, and so therefore you have that number in case they can't be there, is that the?
Yes, sir, it would be in the event that a quorum was unable to meet.
If we only have 5, just throw this out there, if we only have 5 applicants, should 3 be on the thing and then have 2 as the alternate?
That's what he just said.
That's what Ryan knows that too. So we actually have alternates.
We could.
And then with the alternates, then council.
Which ones would you pick? Not to be the alternates.
Because we
I
have,
feel
I
bad
haven't
for
seen
that.
that.
They could come to the meetings, the alternates could, just to stay in the loop on what's going on. However, they have a little less authority as the alternate than they would the sitting committee, unless there was a committee member missing and an alternate would have to step up. Then you get into a little bit of a conundrum about which alternate steps into the one missing spot when there's 2 of them. So you might alternate 1, alternate 2.
We also talk about what kind of impressed me was on the charter. It was not just up to the charter committee, but it would go to a public vote.
Correct, so the charter recommendations come to council. Council okays that to go on the ballot, and then the ballot is submitted to the voters of the city of Lampasas to approve or deny.
And are we trying to get this on the ballot in November, or would it come back around?
No, we wouldn't have time to get it in
So
November.
it would be like the next, the election next May?
Correct, so we would need, council would need to okay the proposed amendments in early February. You really need to have it done in January to get it pushed through council in February in time to get them on the May ballot.
So I think there's been a lot of misinformation out there that's like council trying to change the charter and push a bunch of.
Just review.
This
is a committee looking at a charter, looking at our charter. It's going to be predominantly made up of citizens. And then that committee is going to make recommendations to this council. And I would say, as a council member, we ought to listen to the committee if we're going to do justice by.
And we have not reviewed this charter in the last 10 years. Is that correct?
It's been 10 years. The last charter review was done purely by staff. All of the recommendations were made by staff. It was not made by representatives necessarily of the
Let me go
community.
back and make this like perfectly clear, so there's no miscommunication out there to anyone that there will be a committee. We're about to determine how many people are on that committee, who's on that committee. that committee will go through the charter, and if I have anything to say about it, it'll be step by step, paragraph by paragraph. That's what we need to do. At the end of that, the committee will make a recommendation, or make their recommendations to this council. This council will then approve what will go on the ballot for the citizens of this community to determine whether or not they want to change any aspects of our charter.
If things need to be changed.
Very
That's
different.
what I just said. If things need to be changed.
I would say still that it's difficult to remove two people who have offered to work on the committee and ask them to act as alternates. I believe these are well-qualified people that submitted, they're excited about doing it, and I would really recommend that we continue with the 5.
Do we have the names?
They're in the packet.
It's the next agenda item. I would like to state, if you're looking at going to a smaller committee, if you are looking at 5 people and 2 of them are made up of council members, your quorum is 3 people. The likelihood that you would need to call on one of your alternates, very rare if ever.
Whereas if it was 7 or 5 members and 2 alternates, it could be more difficult getting a quorum at times.
I think it would be easier, because you'd only need 3 people.
If there were 7 people on it.
If you had 5.
The alternates.
Your alternates don't count and your quorum count, so if you
Right, so
have.
like what I'm proposing with 5, rather than 7 members and 2 alternates, right?
Yes.
Because that's what originally.
Well, we only have 5 applicants, so we can't do 5 and 2 alternates.
Right, 7 members would be the 2 council members who are on Councilperson Key and myself, and then the 5 applicants, and then there'd be no alternates,
Correct.
right?
Sounds
I like the idea of 5 total, 2 alternates.
I can modify that if that's the direction you'd like to go.
I would make a motion to amend the ordinance reappointing 5 members, 2 alternates, and staff appointees to the Charter Review Committee of the City of Lampasas, Texas, throughout the procedure specified in other terms. To approve the first reading of such.
I guess the question, who determines the alternates?
That'll be on the next agenda item. He has made a motion if there's a second.
I didn't really hear the motion clearly. Can you repeat it?
Sorry. So right now, the recommendation is talking about appointing 7 people, right? So I move to approve the first reading of the ordinance, but amended appointing 5 members, 2 alternatives, and staff appointments to the Charter Review Committee. Just going from the 7 to the 5.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
4.11. Any opposed? Discussion and possible action regarding the appointment of members to the Charter Review Committee.
Mayor and council, we received 5 applications. Your applicants are Heather Wiggins, Miles Hager, Wesley Alexander, Alexis Thompson, and Martha Monroe. We'll be choosing 3, with 2 alternates.
In reading through these applications, I would like to appoint Heather Wiggins, Wesley Alexander, and Martha Noel to the committee with Alexis Thompson and Miles Hager being the alternates.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. That's easier than ordinance.
4.12, discussion and possible action regarding the renewal of city health insurance coverage for city employee with Scott Health Plan for October 1st, 2026 to September 30th, 2027, and authorize the city manager to execute related documents.
Mayor and council, we've received our health insurance renewals for the fiscal year. When we met with our consultant, who is not tied to a specific healthcare provider, they're not tied to a specific insurance provider, they're purely a third party that gathers the information for us. When we met with her a couple of months ago, she did give us a heads up that based on the city's loss ratio, if we went to market to shop insurance rates, we would be looking at a 25 to 40% increase in our monthly premiums. When we signed with Baylor Scott and White last year, they capped our increase at 12.9% if we did not go out to market. So we were looking at a lower rate increase there. After a little bit of back and forth with Baylor Scott and White, it's 12.8%, which gives you the renewal rates that are included in your packet.
And that, all the rates, all that all has to do with the health of the small group that's the city, right? That has to do with like.
Right, so the city is on a group plan that includes our current employees and our retirees. And so next year when we go out to market, which we only were locked in for 1 year, we are likely looking at significant increases.
Because of the expenditures that's happened to happen in the small group that we have.
Correct.
There's just out of curiosity, because the bigger your base, the less that's gonna happen, and we're not growing that much. Does TML have anything?
Not, especially not with our loss ratios.
Okay, I just thought it was worth asking.
One thing that has been suggested is moving our retirees onto individual plans and keeping current employees on the group plan by pulling them out. They do represent a large number of our claimants. It would minimize, by pulling them out, our loss ratio going into this would have been 80% instead of 120%.
So, how does that work? Like, because if the retirees are on a different, do we still pay for the retirees?
Yes, that's the way it currently would work.
It's up to 65.
Yes, they would,
Or 20 years.
No, until age 65. They can retire at 20 years. We provide health insurance after they've retired after 20 years. They are eligible up to age 65. So you can start working for the city of Lampasas when you're 18 years old. You can retire at 38 and we will cover your insurance until you're 65.
There is a provision for grandfathering people into a separate program. So any promises we have made in the past to current employees would be honored, but grandfather so that those are the new people coming in, being hired, will not have the same promises, and that might be something to consider.
But if we pulled them out and had it in a separate type policy, not our group, but we still are providing insurance and we're still holding we're still doing what we need to do, correct? So why would we want to grandfather unless we're just going to grandfather them and change?
Because eventually
it's going to price it out. We're not going to be able to afford it any longer.
Oh, so like from moving forward, like say no more retirees.
So what I've kind of talked to staff about a little bit is modifying the personnel manual to where if you are currently a city employee of the city of Lampasas, we will honor what was in the personnel manual when you were hired. But modifying it at some point this year, quite frankly, that if you were hired after this date, we're going to price ourselves out sooner rather than later.
We're not going to make that promise to the new hires.
Correct.
Right.
So when someone retires, because you're retiring from the city or you're retiring through TML?
TMRS, Texas Municipal Retirement System.
So with the Texas Municipal Retirement System, do they have an insurance plan?
No, they don't.
I was just asking, because with me,
Sure.
and that's why.
Yeah, I've worked in a couple of places where we did the grandfather out and we want new hires, and it takes a long time. And putting retirees into a separate fund, basically. It does help the ratio for long term, but it does seem like it's not gonna be an overnight savings, but it will happen.
So that's something that, like, maybe those changes address during the budget.
And I do have rates to move those areas onto individual plans. And then, they're very similar to how our plan is currently structured. And with individual plans, the way it was explained to me is they are then grouped into a large group. Individual plan holders are grouped into a large group. So their premiums won't increase as drastically because they're part of a larger group of individual coverage.
Does that individual coverage go through Baylor's Got Life?
Some of them are, some of them are not, but they are structured the same with the very favorable deductibles, out of pockets, co-pays.
My question is on the two types of plans that we have. One is a basic 80/20, is that correct? And the HMO, is that required by state law to have an HMO?
No.
That's what,
HMO should be cheaper. I mean, don't the insurance companies?
it's not, yeah, and it's not worked out that way, the industrialized, employers and all that. And so my question is on the number of people we have, the majority are on HMO. The differences in premiums are pretty significant differences. So do we want to, one thing to think about is whether we want to continue with an HMO for the future?
And there's a few alternate plans that the benefit of I'm looking at, do you have the sheet in front of you that has, can you scroll up on it?
Yes, I do.
And the buyout plan is a fantastic plan to be on. 0% co-insurance, 0% or $0 deductible.
Okay.
So that's where a large, I will tell you, Scott and White's tried to push us off this plan for years.
Yeah. Well, and your,
They don't offer it anymore.
and your rates are, yeah, HMO is not done for the future, it's almost. Maybe it's debatable, but right, that's what I see, is HMOs are not. But going forward. Just comments.
But as for right now, for this is what we're doing today, because we're gonna talk about that during the budget, I'm assuming, try to make some changes. Right now, recommended approval of renewal rate at 4.8% increase in authorized city manager to execute documents.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, get a motion to adjourn into executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. City Council, City of Lampasas will meet closed executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, as follows. Section 551.086 relating to the authority of public power utility governing bodies to deliberate regarding competitive matters, utilities, and we will adjourn into executive.